Hello, I'm Josh Foreman from Breath of Life Development, and I'm just mind-blowingly excited right now. You guys have no idea. I have just fulfilled a childhood fantasy of mine. This is a true bucket list item. So, since I was a wee lad, I was about 13, and I discovered this genre of music known as heavy metal. Now, back in those days, this was the early 90s, there was this very strange procedure you had to go through if you wanted to listen to music. You would have to physically take your body from your home. You would have to go to a store. This was like a big place that had shelves and physical pieces of plastic, and those physical pieces of plastic had artwork on them. And these were albums, and you would buy them, and you would look at this art, and it would evoke all these emotions. With heavy metal, it was usually like those kind of emotions. But anyway, it was just crazy exciting. When I first saw heavy metal covers, I was like, one day, this was little 13-year-old me, one day I will make a heavy metal album cover. And now, what is it, like 65 years later, finally I got to do it. Okay, and here's what's so exciting. I've done a couple album covers before for, indie bands and stuff, but I've never been able to walk into a store and purchase a piece of plastic with my art on the cover. So I'm squeezing in right on the tail end of that, by the way. That's not going to be a thing much longer. But these albums, they will be. Okay, so here's what's exciting. Not only do I get to do a heavy metal album cover, I get to do two, because they released a double album. One called War and one called Peace. B, one of my favorite bands ever, Demon Hunter. You've seen me talk about Demon Hunter. I've done videos about all my Demon Hunter art. It's crazy. Like, what are the chances?
Approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
So, a favorite band of mine, two albums at once, walking into a store and buying them. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys a bit about the process behind it. I thought you might find it interesting. Like, how does an album cover like this come to be? And, yeah, so let's get into it, shall we? So, one of the first interesting things, wrinkles, you might say, with this project is the fact that Ryan Clark, who is the singer, songwriter for the band, he also just happens to be a graphic designer and album cover artist himself. So, how does one approach that? Like, if I were to go to someone and ask them to sculpt something for me, how would that work out? I don't even quite grasp this. But I think I had just pestered him enough about, hey, look at my art. Hey, look at my art. He was like, fine, Josh. If you'll shut up, I'll let you do an album cover, and then you could leave me alone, okay? No, I'm just kidding. He's a super nice guy. But yeah, it's interesting because he does art direction himself. So he was able to give me art direction, which for me was actually super cool. The way this typically works in the industry is the label will contract an artist and it'll just be whatever it is, and oftentimes the band doesn't have a lot of say in the process. But he's very brand conscious and aware of all these things. He keeps a really tight rein on the full aesthetic of the band. Everything from the sound to the look to the merchandise. It's just he thinks about this a lot, and that's cool. The other thing he thinks about a lot is what these things mean. Like he's like me. He overthinks things a lot. I don't know if it's overthinking. It's not overthinking, you guys. It's thinking the right amount. And anyway, so the kind of symbols and the aesthetics and all these things are very deliberate and very thought through. So it started out this way. First, we had to decide where these sculptures are going to land on this spectrum between bas relief on the left, where it's all kind of flattened, versus somewhere in the middle, where it's all one material but fully three-dimensional, or assemblage on the right, where it's just a bunch of stuff sticking up out of the surface. And then the first bit of direction Ryan gave me, obviously, was the album names, and that he wanted them to be like black and white. Other than that, he left me free to explore whatever concepts I wanted to. So the first thing I did was compile a list of words or ideas that I thought were aesthetically unified, but thematically opposed. And then I started sketching those out, writing more words, just coming up with really rough thumbnails. After that, I started collecting reference from other artists that I thought was particularly inspirational, that had elements that we had been talking about, and then I presented these to Ryan and said, hey, you know, what little bits and bobs of these various pieces do you think work for the vision that you have? And so he pointed those out. I collected those into a more refined document that I could use as reference as I was going. Now, at first, the plan was to make these pieces as physical sculptures, so I started with maquettes. That's like miniature versions of what the final piece would be. I'm going to do an entire episode on sculpting with epoxy-based clays, so I'm not going to go into too much detail with that here. I ended up making 2 sets so I could explore as many of these ideas as possible. This set was primarily contrasting the natural and the industrial, and this set I was playing with shape and direction contrasts, kind of the up arrow and the down arrow. After meeting with Ryan and showing him the maquettes, that helped him articulate what kind of ideas he was and wasn't looking for. And one thing he settled on was the idea that the pieces should look like they were artifacts that had been created together as a set a long time ago. I can't remember exactly what the reason was, but shortly after that I suggested that we do the pieces digitally, and he liked that idea, and it helped us iterate a lot faster. This particular program is called ZBrush. Pretty much every monster, alien, and robot you've seen in video games or movies, they're all sculpted in this. Incidentally, if you want to learn more about it, you should check out my Twitch stream. You know, about half of them are sculpting in this program in ZBrush, and just search for Josh Foreman on Twitch. One of the really cool things about ZBrush is it allows you to kind of stamp these textures virtually over the surface. So it allows you to get some really intricate, fine detail really quickly. Made doing these root textures really fun. You know, it doesn't do all the work for you, but it does enough of it that it just makes the process a breeze. But really it comes down to finding your overall forms first. You can have all the beautiful texture in the world, it's not going to make your piece nice unless the forms are solid. And here I was trying to explore to find some kind of new territory that hadn't been done before, kind of between plant and animal, between a horn and a tree. I don't know, I was just exploring to find something that felt, I don't know, metaphysical and weird. Alright, now this is the war piece here, and I was going a lot more for just the straight, spiky, angular look for it, just make it a lot more aggressive. So dealing a lot with thorns and shards. One of the elements I was also dealing with, besides the sharp angular thing, is I was trying to elicit some tryptophobia, which is this impulse people have to avoid things that have lots of little holes in them. And now I'm splitting up the tablet. I started out with just one piece, and ZBrush lets you kind of cut it up into chunks and then texture them in fun ways. Now, one of the references that Ryan gave me that it was a big influence on him, another artist, is, you know, I don't even know how to say the name, so I'm just going to show it here. Anyway, he did a lot of the early Metallica album covers and a lot of skate decks and stuff like that. So I was trying to get some of that feel, that kind of gnarled, weathered look to the bone here. I really put a lot of effort into making this bullet hole feel like it actually shattered this skull here. So yeah, that was the process. That is how I got achievement unlocked. Made an album cover for a band that you really love. It's probably an achievement. Anyway, I cannot wait to do this dangerous new trend.
Disturbing new trend popping up on the internet. Take a look at this. Here's a new trend among teens that you should really hear about.
Here are 10 dumb teen trends that are dangerous.
The new teen challenge has been going viral. Could be deadly.
It's called like artisanal vending, and they take this crinkly green paper stuff and they like walk into a store, and then they like give it to a vendor type person. That person hands them a piece of plastic. It's like a disc and it has music on it, and on that cover is my art, and I'll be like, look, this is art, I made this, and they'll be like, so? I'll be like, I made this. It won't matter to them. Hey, maybe it'll matter to you. You know me, right? So you can buy it. You can go on Amazon. You could do that dangerous trend that teens are doing and actually go to a physical place and physically buy it. Or you can just go to Bandcamp or Amazon or whatever and, you know, look up Demon Hunter War and Demon Hunter Peace. And you can buy those albums and you can look at the cover and be like, I know the guy who made this cover. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I guess I'm pretty cool, aren't I? Maybe I'm even too cool for you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm never too cool for you guys. I love you guys. So if you guys want to see more beautiful shots of these pieces with different materials and lights and stuff on them, go to my website, breathoflifedev.com. Go to the art section. It's under the sculptures. Or just go to the link. I'll put a link in the description. Also, if you guys have not gone over and hung out with me on Twitch, why not? You could come chat. I like chatting with people while I go and do my arts on the Twitch. Look me up. I'm Josh Foreman. You know me. All right. Well, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.